I'm the lawyer to the applicant. We had approached the court seeking to interpret the provisions of the National Insurance Reform Act, particularly as it relates to the powers of the police to enforce Third-Party Insurance Act, motor vehicle, and impose fines vis-a-vis the powers of the road safety. It was our opinion that the powers were exclusively domiciled with the road safety and not the police. The court had considered the issues and delivered a well-considered judgment, and she was of the opinion that while the police and the road safety may enforce, they outrightly lack the powers to impose fines on third parties or vehicle owners as it relates to purported enforcement of motor vehicle insurance. And then the court went further to restrain the police, the IGP, the police force, and all their officers from, including the FRSC, from imposing fines on motor vehicle users or Nigerian citizens in the course of enforcing third-party motor vehicle insurance. Well, that was basically what happened in the court.
Your reaction to the judge? Are you satisfied with the decision?
So your reaction to the...
Are you satisfied?
Are you satisfied?
Yes, I'm very happy. I'm very happy because the reason why I'm happy is because the sole reason why we came to court is because we wanted the court to make a positive declaration that the police, the road safety, that they do not have the right to impose fines on any Nigerian over the motor vehicle insurance. And we have succeeded. We are encouraged in the pronouncement of my Lord Honorable Justice Iroele, and we sincerely thank the judiciary and the court for this courageous and brave pronouncement today. Efforts were made by the police to arrest the judgment of the court by filing a preliminary objection. They didn't want the court to deliver a judgment, but my Lord Honorable Justice Iroele was very firm to say that the court will proceed to deliver judgment. And we are happy that Nigerians can now go about their lawful activities all over the country without fear of any fine, imposition of fine by the police. Because one of our reasons why we came to court was that we believe that the police, they have a history of extortion all over the country. So we didn't want them to turn the motor vehicle insurance issue into another extortion scheme. So that was one of the major reasons why we came to court, and we are very happy that we have won. Yes, the court ruled against us on the fact that where we had wanted to seek the opinion and view of the court that the police do not even have the right at all to enforce the motor vehicle. But the court disagreed with us and said, yes, by the virtue of Section 4 of the Police Act, that the police have the right, both the police and the road safety have the right to check for motor vehicle third-party insurance. And see, Nigerians must also appreciate the third-party insurance. The third-party insurance is to protect the third party. For instance, if someone hits an innocent person's car, the insurance is to protect that third party. So Nigerians also have the onus of ensuring that the insurance companies pay. Nigerians should stop leaving things to God. Whenever a wrong is done against you, and that's why the country is getting bad every day. Whenever a wrong is done against you, seek for enforcement of your right. Come to court. If you cannot come to court, approach organizations who are inclined to do so. So we are extremely very happy and delighted with the pronouncement of the court, and we sincerely thank the judiciary for making this definite ruling, judgment today that only the court of law can impose fine.
Mr. DG,
Yes.
You said the police and the FRS can check insurance. So at that spot, what would they do further if they check?
Yes, the judgment is clear that whenever they suspect that there's a breach, that they can only report to the court. It's only the court that can impose a fine. But what they wanted to do before was to be unilaterally be issuing fines to motorists, and that will lead to serious extortion all over the country. When we ran to court last year over this issue, over a year ago, the idea was that was the week they wanted to start enforcing and implementing the law. And they had already set up, the illegal Legbetokun ID. They had already set up the machinery for extortion. And we quickly ran to court, and that saved the day. And we are still very happy with the decision of the court that at least there's some form of semblance of relief for Nigerians, that Nigerians do not have to fear for payment of fine on the main road. And you know the fines, even if they had succeeded in saying that they have the power to impose fine, the fine will be depending on the mood of the police officer or on the level of the car. If you are driving a Lexus, the fine for the Lexus will be different from if you are driving a Toyota. And if you are driving a Mercedes-Benz, the fine will be more. So we sincerely thank the court for this landmark judgment.
The judgment of the court, postly put, was partly favorable to the police. However, notwithstanding, we have some issues with the judgment, being that we informed the court of a notice of preliminary objection, challenging the jurisdiction of the court to determine this matter. And that issue of objection is based on the jurisdiction of the court. And the law is settled. We brought to the notice of the court the decision of the Honorable Court of Appeal, Honorable Justice Bando in Adeyanju and Agomago, where the court rightly held that jurisdiction is the lifeline, the heart, and the spinal cord of adjudication. And any adjudication without jurisdiction will be inescapably marooned in the intractable vortex of nullity. We brought that before the notice of the court. However, the court went ahead to deliver the judgment. As at now, inasmuch as the judgment is partly in favor of the police, we envisage that we will likely challenge the proceedings at the Court of Appeal to determine if the courts ought to have determined a case where the originating summons, where we are contending that the originating summons is incompetent for several reasons stated in our motion. So that will be that for now.
Are you going to abide?
Victor Okoye.
Are you going to abide by the ruling for now? Pending the time you do your
Of course, the ruling does not say anything that in any way affects the police adversely. The judgment actually acknowledges that the police have concurrent powers with the FRSC to stop and search and even enforce third-party insurance. So there is nothing, the judgment does not advise the police so much adversely. However, for some reasons, it will be essential that this matter is appealed so that the Court of Appeal can look at the whole proceedings and consider whether it was properly considered. One of the issues we raised was that they sued the IGP. In a case like this, the person to be sued is the Nigerian police force, is the institution, not the Inspector General of Police. There are so many issues that we raised, including the way they commence the proceedings and the other issues that they raised in the summons, which ordinarily ought not to be raised in an originating summons, because originating summons is a process that you use to commence a case that is not contentious. But there were contentious issues that they raised in the originating summons, for which we said that the court ought not to have determined this case in the first place. So for this reason, we are going to Court of Appeal in due time. Most grateful.
Thank you very much.